Well, it took some doing, but we got Ryan's trailer hooked up to the truck. We had to remove the jack stand that belongs there because it wouldn't roll up for us, or roll down, whichever way you want to call it. So we just stuck a farm jack underneath the tongue and jacked it up a little bit, broke the bolts loose, and lowered it down onto the ball of the hitch. But anyway, it was a fun little experience. Now we're going to move it out to the farm and see if we can park Ryan's camper inside the shop. Well, it was a bit of a snug fit, but we got Ryan's camper in the shop with room to spare. So Ryan picked up a new jack to hold up the front of his trailer. The problem is that it fits through the top hole just fine, but it don't fit through the bottom hole. So we're having to grind that out, and that's proving to be a bit of a challenge at the moment. I need to go and buy some kind of metal grinding bit. Well, it's Saturday night. I helped Ryan get the scaffold over here. He cleaned the path through all of this disaster. So we got that done, and then came to the realization that we have the hangers for the garage door here. They are lower than the rafters. And as you can see, the scaffold is about an inch shorter than the rafters are. Ryan's going to have to move his camper back a little bit further. Outside here, I cut the grass again. It's been less than a week, and it needed cutting, believe me. In addition, we still have exposed insulation on the foundation. Every time I take the trimmer down here, I end up cutting into the insulation, which is not desired. So I went and plucked out all of the grass and nonsense that was along the edge. But I took the tractor. It was kind of exciting driving it up on here. I would drive straight up on that elevation and then drag the bucket back. At some point I'll have the box blade on there and I'll be able to smooth out the top some. No way I'm going to try to box blade down that slope though. Scraped it with the bucket yesterday, dragged the harrows over it to smooth it out some today. I think it'll be good enough now that I can mow it without worrying about hitting rocks. But I know for a fact this is where I hit the rock that messed up my blades. Mama's in the garden. Can't really see it behind all of the grass that's grown up in front of the fence there. I really do need to get the trimmer out and clean that up. And clean up a little bit of the mess in here too. I think next year we're going to have to encourage our son to spread things out a bit more. Yeah, you're going to probably need a tool to pull those out, honey. Loosen up the dirt around them a little bit or something first.
Yeah.
You want me to get you a tool?
Sure.
Yeah, I think you need it. I'll be back. Here is a tool.
Thanks.
I think anything that has deep roots like that we want to keep probably should have been planted in other parts of the garden.
Well, he didn't know.
Yeah.
It's another one of the colorful carrots. It's not a regular orange one.
No, it's more of a redder one.
Yeah.
Oh, that one's all split down the middle too.
Yeah.
Well, it's a nice day out today. Sun's shining, sky is blue. It's a wonder to see that because we haven't seen much of it in the last few months. Today I will be working under the deck here or porch, whatever. Tamp down the dirt some and maybe shovel just a little bit more out of the bucket here. And once I get done that, then I need to move a bunch of dirt. Talked with Mr. Weems. Let me walk over there and I'll show you. all of this dirt along the edges, of course, has a tendency to collapse inside my parking area here, which is not ideal. It's been left a little bit longer than I had anticipated, but it's the way it goes with everything, or so it seems. But a couple of options. We've got a ton of extra tires, like old tires laying out in the fields and in the trees and whatnot. So one option is to just lay them down, stack them up, pack them with dirt so that they stay in place. But after talking with Mr. Weems, he mentioned eventually when we build the house, the driveway for the house will come up this way along here. So what I could do is take out a bunch of this dirt here and kind of feather it back a little bit so that it's not doing the kind of thing that it does now, where the clay just kind of flakes off of the side of my cut here and falls down into the parking area. So that would reduce the size of this wall, possibly make it easier for mowing and such, and be a lot fewer tires that I'd have to pack full of dirt and place in here. On this end, something a little bit different. Where the rocks are here, I would like to cut all of that down. The intent that we originally had for this area was to make it terraced and be able to use it for garden space, whether it's as an herb garden or whatever the case may be. Where these rocks are here, so I'll just cut in and sort of maintain that height as much as I can along here. Now I do know that at least in this area there is some rock there. That is bedrock sticking out of the... So instead of doing dirt work, I decided to get out my measuring wheel and take some measurements to try and get a rough idea of how much gravel it's going to take to gravel everything I want graveled. It'll be somewhere around 120 or 130 tons of stone that have to be brought in. If you figure $45 a ton, it's going to be about 10 grand just to gravel everything that needs done. But it would be nice to be rid of all of the clay. I'm kind of glad that I didn't get seeding done earlier because we hadn't thought about putting a root cellar back there. So if I had grass all in here, it would just get tore up again. So I think I've got what I need underneath the deck now. I'm just going to dump this out into this area here. We'll be bringing this level up a little bit through here. Try to get the water to drain out down that way. Kind of need this to get into the tractor. There, that works better. This poor thing has not been cleaned out since I bought it. One of these days I'll get in here and clean it up. All right. There we go. Back up before I do damage to anything. What I'm doing is pulling the bucket up a fair amount so that I can kind of use it as a grader. Just set it down lightly on the ground and slowly move forward. It's not quite down on the ground. It's hard to tell. Oh, I am. You can see I scraped just a little bit right there. I might have to smooth that out a bit with the shovel. ground is too uneven to be able to get a nice clean cut with the bucket. Get the loader up out of danger's way. And I guess I should move a couple of those bricks, otherwise it'll break if I drive over them. I just wanted the tractor out of the way for now anyway. So I talked with Mark a little bit. That's part of the reason why it's so late now. Any conversation with him turns into a half hour at least, which I'm not complaining, it's fine. But he was saying that there's a pack of coyotes that are living up in the hills on the other side of the road. Once we get our livestock out here, I guess part of our livestock purchases will have to include a guard dog. It's best to do that when they're pups, because then they can bond with the livestock. But we'll see. Maybe I'll get a chance to sight in my rifle scopes and fix the coyote problem at the same time. Some of this clay, when it gets wet and then dries up, it turns into these little, they're almost as bad as rocks. If you've heard of red earth or red clay pottery before, you can pretty much make pottery out of the clay that you dig out of the ground. Most of the time you don't even have to do much to it. Rain on that a few times and it'll take care of itself. I guess we'll see how that drains. There's going to be more clay on top of it anyway. And that's about it for today. I could probably do a little bit more, but my phone says it's quitting time. Move that out of the way. And which other one? I guess this one. Move that out of the way. Now I can go put the tractor to bed. Forward, give her a little bit of gas. Could probably switch to a higher gear and go a little faster. Now that we have a place to store our hoses, I can park the tractor back in here on the grass a little bit, so that I can get to the tractor even when it's wet out. And take it out of all the gears. Not one, two. Brake on, now I can let out the clutch. The bucket is down. And that's it. Well, here we go again. It rained hard this morning. I was hoping it would dry up enough by late this afternoon, but as you can see, it's raining again. You can always tell when it's the weekend.